Ross Bolen Podcast.
You better listen.
Welcome back to the Ross Bolen Podcast, otherwise known as RBP, presented by Bolen Media. I am your host, Ross Bolen, back again as always with your co-host, Chris Coulson.
Howdy. Happy Monday.
Hey, Chris, first doses of the vaccine are rolling out today. Did you know?
Oh, I can't wait to go shoot up. So excited for it.
Seen it on the news. Not a big needle guy.
No?
Terrified of them. It's one of the few things that makes me queasy in this life.
So, like, shots in general?
Oh, don't do well with them, Chris.
Oh, really?
Last shot I got was in the shoulder.
Okay.
It was a steroid shot to help with a...
Like back of the shoulder?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so the doctor was standing behind me, and she was like, this needle is very large.
Gotcha.
And I was like, that's wonderful. Keep it to yourself.
Sure.
She was like, do you want to look at it? Will it make you feel better? And I was like, I would
Absolutely.
rather die in a fire.
Sure.
And she was like, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and put this needle in the back of your shoulder. And I was like, get to it, doc. I'm going to lean over this fucking comfy, cozy table in case I pass out. And then the thing with the shot is, dude, I can feel it. The needle, like, you know, it was like this long.
Okay.
And you can feel it sliding into your skin.
Yes.
Then sliding deep into your muscle tissue and into your back and in whatever fucking spot that is that they're trying to hit. And then when they push,
Yep.
oh, brother.
And the juices come out
Oh, I almost hit the floor every single time.
every time.
I don't ever pass out, but
Okay.
I'm always like, I get queasy. I need a few minutes. I got to sit down. They got to bring me like a fucking graham cracker and a thing of orange juice like I'm 7.
Oh, you're the
Get the blood sugar up or whatever.
You're the snack in the water. You're the guy that, like, did your high school have do blood drawn? Could you get out of class to get your blood
Did
drawn?
my high school do blood drawn? Yeah, we did. We
Blood
had
drives,
blood
that's what
blood
it's called.
drives and
Yeah.
shit. Did your boy participate?
I was just going to say, you were the guy that, like, you go there in second period and then you have to, like, sit in the bus the entire rest
Nah,
of the
fuck
day
that.
because you can't even walk back to class.
Fuck that. I
There's
seen
always
too
that
many
one
kids
guy
in the
every day.
hallway, man,
There's one
with
guy
their
every
whole
day.
arm wrapped up and they're pale as a ghost because they just got back from that shit and it didn't go well. And I'm give blood. Give blood if you're one of the people who has the good blood and the good mental withstanding to fucking give blood. I'm just saying I can't really do that. Like that's
Fair.
like a half a day
Yeah.
for me because it's not
I
just
feel
that
you.
I'm going to do it. It's that I'm also then going to feel like butthole for several hours. I know a lot
Fair.
of people who used to go and give blood and then they'd go get fucked up because,
it-
you know, your tolerance is way lower or whatever because your body doesn't have as much blood.
Bro, you're in high school. How low do you want your tolerance to be?
It's not safe to be in high school.
When I was in high school, well, my dad was a fireman, so I kind of felt a little obligated to not be scared of needles. It was a weird thing because he was doing
Yeah, if your old man's running into like buildings to put out the fires and,
he's
you
like a
can't even take a
EMT.
needle in the arm, it's like, what's your fucking problem,
Yeah,
kid?
exactly. So especially when I'd go to the doctor with my dad, I just like I'm not really a huge fan of needles. I'm not a look at the needle guy. Definitely don't want to watch it going
Yeah,
into my skin. or
those
anything
people
like
are
that.
freaks.
I just
do
like,
it,
stare
do
with-
it to me.
Yeah, they're like,
Let me see it.
yeah.
I
So,
want to watch.
Not really that guy, but I don't really mind needles to that extent. But I love getting my blood drawn in high school because it gets you out of class, you got a free snack, and sometimes you get like a little coupon to like Tenders or something like that after school.
I'm feeling the stomach rumble a bit just talking about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
you don't like to see the like flappy little blood bags full of
I don't even
red
mind that.
juicy
It's like,
juice?
for some reason, bagged blood doesn't bother me much.
Okay,
One time I went to a hospital. This was weird. I don't really know what the deal with this is now looking back. This might be a weird story. I was like 14 years old, okay?
okay,
And one of our parents had some connection to one of the big hospitals. I think it was Memorial Hermann in Houston. Very famous
as in
hospital.
like knew a doctor there or something. That
I don't really know.
Oh,
but
sure.
for somehow me and 2 of my boys ended up at the hospital going through this test, like circumstance, like they were trying to see if we would be eligible to be a part of some fucking study.
Okay,
And we were going to get like $500 each
Oh,
if we
okay.
were eligible for the study.
sick.
So we were like, dope. And the study was stupid. It was like you stay at the hospital overnight for one night and like they monitor the way you read or something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying.
I
It
get
was
what you're
silly. I
saying,
don't
yeah.
remember what it was. It wasn't to like get hooked up to some cancer drug for
Sure.
testament or something crazy.
Or like the
Testament
Stanford
isn't a
prison
word.
experiment or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. We were kids. Anyway, I remember sitting in a chair and they were taking my blood and the bag was filling up and I was just like, it's not the bag. The blood being in the bag makes me feel more comfortable. If it was
Okay.
outside of the bag, I'd be queasy.
Well, of course.
But it's the damn needle as it drains me. But the point of the story is I wasn't eligible because I wasn't far enough into puberty, they told me.
Mm.
And one of my boys got picked because he had enough hair on his body or whatever. I don't know.
They counted
I
him?
just remember being like, fuck puberty. Like, that was the point where I got really frustrated with not being further along into growing into a man like some of my friends were.
Because you couldn't make that $500 right there?
Couldn't get the 500, and I was like 5'2". All the girls were taller than me at that point. It got frustrating, man.
Look
it was
at you
hard
now.
out there for a little pimp.
Now you're like 6'3", too, something like that. Look at you. You're
Everything
looking at-
changed.
looking at all-
The year of the comeback, I grew a ton this year.
You're looking at all the haters saying, fuck you, fingers out.
So the vaccines are going out. Pfizer has begun shipping them out across the United States as of yesterday, I believe. First of nearly 3 million doses going out. Healthcare workers starting to receive shots today. The government is also rolling out a $250 million public education campaign to encourage Americans to take the vaccine because public support is obviously very split. 60% of people said they were likely to get the shot, while more than 20% were strongly opposed to getting the shot. And then I guess, what's that math?
Let me
20 more percent were like, I don't know.
If a couple of you are on the fence, let me just put this into perspective a little bit for some comparisons. If you have ever done cocaine in a frat house, you should definitely take the vaccine. If you have ever lived in a state school dormitory, you should probably take the vaccine. If you have ever even been in the basement of a frat house as well, you also may want to consider taking the vaccine.
How are these things related?
Just because I feel like if you've been in those situations, there's really nothing in the vaccine that could be worse than any substances that you experience in those places that I once said before.
You know what's funny? I bet most of the people listening couldn't answer the question, what is a vaccine?
Okay.
So I'm going to tell
Could
you
you tell
now.
us?
I'm going to tell you right now.
Please do.
Let's ask Wikipedia.
All right.
Wikipedia says a vaccine is a biological preparation that provides active acquired immunity to a particular infectious disease, in this case, COVID-19. A vaccine typically contains an agent that resembles a disease-causing microorganism and is often made from weakened or killed forms of the microbe, its toxins, or one of its surface proteins. The agent stimulates the body's immune system to recognize the agent as a threat, destroy it, and to further recognize and destroy any of the microorganisms associated with that agent that it may encounter in the future. Vaccines can be prophylactic to prevent or ameliorate the effects of a future infection by a natural or wild pathogen, or therapeutic to fight a disease that has already occurred, such as cancer. So that's what a vaccine is. Okay. You know how, like, with the flu shot, you get a little bit of the flu or whatever with it.
Just a little something, like a little appetizer.
It'll teach your
Like
body a little something about killing the flu.
You're getting an hors d'oeuvre of flu.
It's like training,
Like
hunting training,
Yeah.
so that your body can be better at hunting down and killing off all of the badness or whatever. That's my non-scientific explanation. Anyway, this whole vaccine thing is going to be interesting as hell. A lot of people are like, we did it. We made it. Like, one more year and we're out of the shit situation that we're in. But I think some of those people are giving a little bit, they're not giving enough credit to the amount of distrust that people have developed for generally everything this year, which should make this entire situation as dramatic as possible.
I am curious, however, once the vaccine is out,
Yes.
and it's up to personal decision whether or not you want to take it.
And they're getting it to the olds first.
Yes,
That's
of
what we
course.
started calling
And
them.
the front line-
olds.
the frontline workers as well, from what I've
Frontline workers, olds, doctors, nurses, etc., etc.
Yeah, shouts to them. By
My
the way.
grandma's out there trying to make sure that her sons go get it before her. She's like, no, y'all go get my... They're like, that's not how it works, Mom. We don't get your dose. Some other jackass your age is going to get it. We still don't get it till that. Like, you need... That's just the type of person my grandma is. She doesn't get it. But every family's going to have to do this shit.
Yeah.
Every single family is going to have to convince the olds to go get shot up twice, I think,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, to take care of this thing. That's going to take us forever.
Okay, so
Old people are stubborn as hell.
That's very true. So here's what I was thinking, though. What I was going with my original statement is, say the olds in my family get the vaccine.
Yeah.
And I have yet to get the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I am at a much lower risk
Sure.
than the olds in my family. I am personally not too concerned with myself.
You don't have any
And the
immune
effects of-
deficiencies
Correct.
personally or
Personally.
anything that would cause you to be of greater risk with the disease.
Yes. So once the olds in my family have had the vaccine, does that mean that I can go see them? Or do I still need to be cautious?
Once the olds are vaccinated, there's a period of time that has to pass, I think, between the first shot and the second shot, and then after the second shot for it to be completely taking hold or whatever. I think there's like I forget what that's called scientifically,
step-by-step process.
But there's just it takes time for it to sink in or some shit.
You have to like build an immunity, I'm sure.
I don't know.
Well, because if you give them too much COVID, more than an appetizer, you're gonna get them full, and then if they're full, they can't have the main course, and then it doesn't work out. You know what I mean?
Who gets dessert?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a whole shit show.
But then after your grandparents or the olds have gotten the shots and then had it sink in or whatever that period of time is, I don't know. I think it's a couple weeks or something. Then you're good, even if you haven't had it, because they're good is the point.
Okay, so
but eventually we want everybody to get
it.
But yeah, the most important thing being obviously people who are older, people who work in hospitals in healthcare that are frontline every day, and then people who are immune compromised and then have other issues that make them at greater risk with COVID. So that's the biggest thing we're all looking to do, right? That's the reason we all stay inside more. That's the reason we've all been playing it safe, or some of us for the whole of 2020 to keep these old people safe. It's not necessarily about, and not just the old people, everybody who needs to be safe about it, right? But the olds being the biggest concern for me in particular, because it's like, yo, I want to see my family, right? Chris, what's the first thing you're going to do once vaccinated and safe from the vid?
Dap up the homies.
I'm going to eat a whole bushel of apples. But also I miss movie theaters a lot. A lot.
Dude.
Like, I really miss movies.
I've
been to one movie this year, bro.
Live sporting events with people there.
Oh, my God. I just want to be around the idiots again. The funny thing is, like, I remember being at NFL games, and I'd just look around me and be like, fuck, these people are trash.
Yep.
And now, I just want to be back amongst them.
I just want to be around a large crowd without having to worry about anything or everything, like without having to worry about how close people are to me.
The fat, sweaty jackass in the seat in front of me who turns around and tries to high-five me and ruins my entire Sunday, that would now be the most welcome fucking thing. Like, hug me.
Yes.
You sweaty, disgusting oaf.
Yes.
Please.
The drunk friend that's way too hammered and comes up and like the drunk stranger that's way too drunk and comes up and like puts his arm around you and tries to be your best friend. I miss that. Give me that.
Give me a crowded bar with a bunch of drunk people screaming in my face at an unnecessary volume that makes 0 sense, spittle coming out, landing in different orifices, and I won't even care. Bring me back that world. Bring me back disgustingly close, gross other humans.
That's going to bring 2020 is going to bring about like a kink that's just touch and
there's just going to be piles everywhere.
Germs.
It's South Park piles like everywhere, throughout every major city in the United States. Everybody's going back to the pile. We're all stripping naked and jumping in. I know this is like a cheesier thing that I miss, but I'm serious, man. Museums and zoos and art museums, I love that shit. I need it at least a couple times a year. I've got none. I went to the zoo earlier this year and won the same. The zoo with a mask on, and there's like fences so you can't even get close to the animals. I'm trying to get my hand bit off by a panther. It's just not the same.
Honestly, I miss citywide events like parades. Like I want to go to like a St. Patrick's Day parade.
Never been a parade guy.
Really? Well, honestly, I wasn't even a huge parade guy, but now that I haven't been to a parade in like a year and a half, I kind of miss parades.
Now, I'll be honest with you, Chris. I haven't been to a parade smoking marijuana like a cigarette before, and that sounds like it would be something I would thoroughly enjoy. Parade high is because that's at the parade. If you're not getting intoxicated, what are you doing?
Exactly.
You're just not really enjoying yourself.
We have a listener, and he hops in to play video games with us quite often, Lomond. And the high school that he went to is the high school that 420 was invented at, holiday.
That's wild.
So I think you and I should go to that high school to celebrate at the parade I'm assuming they have to have.
Stoners don't do parades, dude. They can't organize like that. They just smoke in fields. I think we're very organized people. That's pretty organized to me. I'm just saying they don't have parades.
And to be fair, that sounds like a great parade.
The stoners, they're too busy eating the munchies. My family is the number one thing I miss, though. And I can't wait to get back to seeing whenever I want at some point in the next couple years, I hope. Olds, get vaccinated. Take care of yourselves. Get this shit done so that we can all move on with our lives. Also, all of you who have any type of immune deficiency or any type of health issue that would cause you to need it, go get it. Check where you're supposed to be in line. Check with your doctor. See what the steps are and take care of this shit. Again, so that we can all move on with our freaking lives. RBP 357 is also brought to you by Felix Gray. There are a lot of blue light glasses on the market, but to lump all blue light glasses together is like lumping Honda Civics and Corvettes together as cars. Screens produce more blue light at a certain point in the spectrum, 455 nanometers. Most clear blue light glasses filter 2 to 3% of blue light from screens. Felix Gray filters 15 times more. High-quality frame materials make Felix Gray durable, super lightweight, and they can be adjusted to fit Felix Gray glasses. They can be adjusted to fit anybody's face. I've gotten 4 or 5 pairs of Felix Grays at this point. I've got the Faraday frames in a couple different colors. I've got the Nash frames. Their sunglasses are awesome too. They've got nighttime glasses that are called sleep glasses that they relieve serious daily eye strain. They're especially designed for late night screen time to improve sleep. So if you're having to work late, grind late, like Chris and I are oftentimes at night, the sleep glasses are incredible. My girlfriend just ordered some of those. They've got highly curated, timeless styles made from Italian acetate for stylish, durable, lightweight, super comfortable glasses, and industry-leading blue light lenses come standard at $95, or you can add your prescription at checkout starting at $145. They got everything you need, though. The original optical lenses relieve most eye strain symptoms from daily screen time. It's 2020, going into 2021. It's looking like we're all going to be using our screens just as much, if not more, to keep up with our families, get our jobs done. I'm not sure the office will ever be the same. We're all going to be using these screens. It's legit like 10 hours a day for Chris and I. We definitely experience the symptoms of eye strain by the end of the day, and my blind ass has worn contacts since I was like 12 years old. Felix Gray is phenomenal. Like I said, they give me the relief that I need. They'll give you the relief that you need. And if you don't love your glasses in the first 30 days, their in-house customer care team will take care of exchanges and returns. You just go to felixgrayglasses.com/RBP to shop better blue light glasses at one of their best prices ever right now. That's FELIXGRAY glasses.com/RBP. Free shipping, free returns, free exchanges. felixgrayglasses.com/RBP. Time for some announcements and shouts. Shouts to Sean and his wife Abigail on their baby girl Sophie Joe coming in March. Thanks for being a proud member of the RBP Construction Gang. Shouts to CMD CPA2 on Twitch. Thank you for the support last week. Happy birthday to David Abadi. Make it a great one, dude. Happy belated birthday to Christian Bosmediano. Bosmediano?
I think you crushed that, in all honesty.
I hope Sunday was good to you. Happy birthday, Colin. Head up player. It's a new year for you. If you want to watch our show and not just listen, you can do so at youtube.com/Bolen Media, where every time we say this, we wave to the cameras. youtube.com/Bolen Media to watch all the episodes of the Ross Bolen Podcast and Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, our television and film podcast here at Bolen Media that are publicly available. If they're publicly available, they're on youtube.com/Bolen Media. If you want more RBP, if you would like an ad-free third episode every Friday of every week, go to patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast today. Join our Patreon, support the show, and get more RBP as you go. Now it's time for our first segment. Living the manicured life.
Ooh, baby.
Chris, have you ever gotten a manicure or a pedicure?
I believe on the show I mentioned, this was maybe 1 month of me being here. I got my first pedicure. And that is my one and only pedicure that I've ever had. I've never had
you went to a professional.
Where I went to a professional. I have never had a professional manicure. However, when I was 7, my godmother painted my fingernails. And that's all. That's the only time.
Does that count as a manicure, though?
I don't think so.
See, because I'm quite sure at some point, whether it was like middle school when I was letting a girl do it because that seemed like flirting to me, and I was like, whatever, this is as close as I've ever gotten to anything being exciting in my life. Or whether it was like a little kid at some point. Like, I've had my nails painted,
Absolutely.
At least a few of them or some shit.
Yeah.
I don't think that counted,
That's kind of like the equivalent of, like, in middle school, you let the girl, like, draw on your hand. Then you get home and your parents are like, what the hell is on your hand?
Why do you have a swastika on your forehead and a teardrop tattoo? And I'm like, I don't know. Look, the girls wanted to do it.
Girls were you?
One time in class, I got one braid. One braid.
Okay.
Black girl behind me braided one braid.
Okay.
That shit hurt like hell. White people's heads are not made to be braided. We're too sensitive and soft. Sad.
No, when I had really long hair, I tried to get one braid as well. It's a very long process, and you're right. Especially guys' heads.
It was fucked up.
Because I think girls'
she kept
heads,
telling me to sit still, too.
Yeah, females, like, they over time, the more that they braid their hair and, like, manipulate their hair and things like that,
you
you
get
develop
tougher.
Strength in your scalp.
You get tough.
Exactly.
Like my feet, they have that on their heads.
Nah, us soft little boys over here, we got nothing. We got
Whitey can't handle it.
Nah, not even close.
So I had never gotten a manicure or a pedicure in my entire life. I have lots of friends, guy friends. No, let me put that a different way. I have several guy friends that I know that will participate in these activities.
Yeah.
Now, not when I was younger. I probably only had one.
Yeah.
One dude I knew of, like, before 25 years old that would get a manicure on occasion, okay? I'm not going to throw anybody
Solo
under the
dolo?
bus here. I don't want to, like, out people. No, I don't think he ever went alone.
Okay.
But he would go with his girlfriend, maybe sometimes his mom, shit like that. And I never thought it was, like, weird necessarily. It wasn't one of those things, although that is the way a lot of men feel about stuff like this, right? Anything that involves, like, getting your hair done or, like, your nail, like, dudes, hardcore machismo straight dudes don't typically fuck with this stuff.
Sure.
So it was more of, like, I don't really see, like, that's not a thing that to me was important. My hands or my nails looking good. And I've been a nail biter since I was a young lad. You know, since I can remember. Like 10 years old, I remember my mom being like, stop. Way before I ever had panic attacks, way before any type of anxiety or any real life issues existed.
I wonder if that was the first red flag.
Probably was in hindsight. But it's been a really big problem for me my entire life, to the point that, like, I mean, most of the time when I'm taking an Instagram, I'm like holding something or whatever. I got to avoid my nails even being in the photo because they look terrible, or like one of them right now is kind of bloody, you know, and I'll get to that in a second. But because I bite on them pretty bad. Like I bite on the cuticles, I bite on the sides, and it's frankly disgusting.
Sure.
But it's something that I've always found a way to live with and like validate somehow.
To be honest, like
justify.
I grew up with a lot of like hardcore nail biters as well, just weirdly. But I don't really notice it much with you.
Oh,
Like it's very rare that I see you physically. Like I'll catch it occasionally, like if we're watching TV or something.
Yeah,
or
it's
something
usually
like that.
when I'm chilling.
Yeah.
Is when the nail biting kicks in.
Yeah, but like I really never
Like at
really
night and
see
shit.
you like when we're riding in the car or anything like that. Just biting your nails all the time. So
Yeah, because if I'm busy,
Seems
I'm,
like you're
I'm
doing better
usually
about it now.
good.
Yeah.
I'm usually good. And granted, this is something that goes in phases. Sometimes I bite my nails much worse than others. It depends on how anxious and stressed I am.
I
Lately,
completely
they're
relate to you
fucking
there.
been getting absolutely destroyed.
So my nervous tick is not biting my nails, but like I will just without even thinking about it, like I'll like pick at my face, which is disgusting, and like, but I'm sure
See,
you
that's
see me
way
do it
worse.
from time to time.
So anytime I find one that's worse, I'm like, see, I'm good.
Yeah, it's fucking gross.
I just bite
in
my
all
nails.
honesty. But it's like a really bad habit of mine, like especially when I'm really anxious or stressed, like I just start like, especially if I have like acne or anything on my face, like I'll start picking at it, and then it gets worse, and then like, it's
dude.
cyclical. It's really bad.
No,
yeah.
you people who play with your acne are fucking insane.
know,
Stop
it's-
touching your fucking faces. What's wrong with you people?
It's
I
hard
touched a
to.
pimple 3 weeks ago. All right, I never touch them ever. It's a general rule. If they come, I let them stay until they're ready to go home. The fucking thing showed up on my face, and I couldn't help myself. I was like, eh. I did a little eh. I've got a mark 3 weeks later, dude. Stupid mistake. Thing would have been gone in 48 hours. Instead, I got a fucking scar. I don't know what's wrong with you people. Stop touching your faces. I got a manicure yesterday. First one I've ever gotten in my life. The girlfriend manicured my fingernails. And she like caught me at a good time. She was like, I was like, I'm going to call my dad. Because he called me. And it turns out he didn't even mean to call me. He left me a 4-minute voicemail of him watching the news. And
like commentate like live.
just the news. Like he wasn't talking. It was just the news. And we played phone tag back and forth. And I called him back, and she was like, "I'm gonna give you a manicure while you're talking to him." And I was like, "Okay, what?" I couldn't really say no. It was just like one of these things. I was like, "Okay, let's do this." So I didn't even really know what that entailed, and I didn't really pay that much attention, frankly, when I was on the phone, because it kind of hurt a little bit. And I was just like, I don't know what's happening. I'm uncomfortable. But it's a lot about your cuticles.
Yep.
I had massive cuticles, dude. So much cuticle. And it's all gone now, scraped away. And even my gross, picked at, bitten at, disgusting hands. One of them, she got a little aggressive with the cuticle, and I got a little bloody. So there's a little red mark. And like I'm saying, that's the kind of thing that I have to avoid in my Instagrams.
So didn't leave a tip.
I'm going to choose not to make the joke I want to make. And the point is, this shit is amazing. I now understand. And it's a lot of it is like having someone groom you in any way
Yes.
is relaxing and pleasurable, period.
Absolutely.
This is the thing that dudes who have been doing this the whole time, straight dudes who go get manicures, they've been mostly silent about the benefits. They've done a terrible job of selling us all on why this is dope and not something to be ashamed of. Excuse me.
Your excuse.
So I'm going to step up, I guess. This is something we need to be doing. men.
I'll step up on the pedicure side after you get to the manicure side.
Like moisturizing and washing our faces and shit, these things that women do instinctively that they know that dudes are like, nope, I'm disgusted. Stop walking around with the disgusting hands of a homeless junkie. Too long that I look like a smackhead just based off my hands. And just from one manicure, I now have more respect for these things as a whole.
I feel like a new man.
Also, the cuticle is the thing I was biting and picking at, it turns out. So now that I don't have those, I don't feel like I have to screw with my hands very much.
And let's be very clear here. Getting a manicure or pedicure does not mean that you have to get your nails painted in any way, shape, or form.
No, it's got nothing to do with paint.
At all.
It's about, it's just a grooming.
Yeah, it's cleaning them, basically.
They take away the dead skin and the unnecessary, and they make them look pretty, and then there's some kind of shiny lotion that was applied to my hands at some point. I'm not really sure what the fuck that was. I need to ask more questions. It was glossy feeling. I don't know, but my hands feel brand new. I feel like in 6 months' time, I could be a hand model like the great J.P. Pruitt. It's possible for me. I feel like I'm now on the path. I feel like this is a new page, a new leaf for me. It's honestly, it's like number 27 on the list of amazing life changes I've made in the year of the comeback in 2020.
That's huge for you.
Yeah.
Were you a little toasty in the process?
No, and
Really?
I just keep I
Highly
keep
recommend that
finding
next time.
I keep finding new things to add to like the relaxation pile, the
Yeah.
things that help me chill, help me take care of myself and my mentals, which is huge.
Well, I've learned for me that self-care is extremely important because, like, I mean, just growing
like how
up, I have
it's like how you go wash your car, you know?
Absolutely.
You take care of your nice shit.
Yeah,
Like I clean my keyboard every fucking day when we game.
absolutely. And
Stuff like
when
that. Why don't I take care of my hands?
Exactly.
Why?
And when I take good care of myself, especially skincare wise, because like I was saying earlier, I sometimes have a bad habit of like picking my face,
Right.
which can make me have more acne and things like that. So when I do a really good job of it, and as we have Hawthorne as a sponsor, I've been using their face cleanser and face lotion, everything like that, every single night. And looking in the mirror and having like nice, clear, clean, soft facial skin, like I'm much happier looking back at myself in the mirror. Like yesterday, it was a nice day outside, good lighting. Like I was kind of feeling myself a little bit. I was like, damn, I've been taking good care of my face.
I'm cute.
Like I'm happy with what I'm seeing. And that's like a sense of pride, you know, give that boost of self-confidence as somebody that struggles with mental health. Like that's huge, having that physical self-confidence, especially as I was actually talking about this last night. I go through these highs and lows where like physically I don't change appearance, obviously, but I look in the mirror sometimes and I'm like, dude, I look like shit. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, why do I look like shit? Why would it, like, everybody around me I feel like looks so good and I look like shit.
Well, that's
and then
just
sometimes
not the case,
I go
but
through,
sure.
like a 1 week later, I'm like, oh my God, I'm the fucking hottest person in Austin, baby. Like, let's ride.
The old manic consciousness.
Yep, that's probably what it is. The person I was talking to.
No,
about
I know
this
what you
was like,
mean, though,
Maybe you
like-
should go talk to a counselor about that, but I definitely get where you're coming from.
Yeah, you want to stay
Therapist.
somewhere in between
Yeah.
being disgusted by yourself and thinking you're the hottest person on the planet.
That's very true, and those are extremes.
But to your point, this is like, it's just another example of things you can do to take care of yourself. You know, I know for a lot of y'all this is not a problem. You've got nice hands, you don't bite your nails, you don't give a shit about what I'm saying right now. But it really is meaningful. It's impactful to have something that you don't take good care of and you kind of flip that around. It's like, you know, when I was Bill Chungus and I had kind of put on a lot of weight and gotten myself to a place where I was no longer happy with it wasn't so much appearance, just generally I didn't feel healthy.
Yeah.
And then to get that back on track is a huge point of pride, and it's something you have to work on, and you're proud of the progress you've made. And this is the same thing. It may be silly, may seem silly, but anything you can add like that really gives you a little bit more of a boost, gives you some more self-confidence, makes you feel more comfortable. That's a huge win. RBP 357 and this week's upcoming Monday Mental Health Minute are brought to you by Headspace. Obviously, life can be stressful even under normal circumstances, but 2020 has challenged all of us. One of the more difficult periods of time any of us have ever endured. You need stress relief that goes beyond quick fixes, and that's where Headspace comes in. Headspace is your daily dose of mindfulness in the form of guided meditations in an easy-to-use app. Whatever the situation, Headspace really can help you feel better. If you're overwhelmed, Headspace has a 3-minute SOS meditation for you if you need some help falling asleep. Headspace has a wind-down session that their members swear by, and for parents, Headspace even has morning meditations you can do with your kids. Headspace's approach to mindfulness can reduce stress, improve sleep, boost focus, increase your overall sense of well-being. We spent a lot of time this year talking about meditation, how it has benefited me using it for the first time, experiencing meditation for the first time. And there's no better way to get into meditation and find more peace at the end of this year and going into 2021 than with Headspace. Headspace is backed by 25 published studies and on its benefits, 600,000 five-star reviews, over 60 million downloads, and Headspace makes it easy for you to build a life-changing meditation practice with mindfulness that works for you on your schedule, anywhere, anytime. You deserve to feel happier. Headspace is meditation made simple. Go to headspace.com/Ross. That's headspace.com/Ross for a free 1-month trial with access to Headspace's full library of meditations for every situation. That's the best deal offered right now. Headspace.com/Ross today. Next segment. Monday Mental Health Minute. Coles, this week's Monday Mental Health Minute is about one thing and one thing only. It's the return of Kid Cudi.
Woo, baby.
Well, really, it's about the way music can be utilized to help with the mentals, but also specifically Kid Cudi, because Kid Cudi was one of the first rappers that ever addressed mental health issues. Really, he was one of the first musicians, period, that discussed mental health issues in a way that resonated with me.
And in a way that was like not just like this exists, in a way that was like I'm actively struggling with this and it's actively keeping me from doing what I want to do. So I'm going to have to take time off for myself because if not, like I'm going to fall apart.
Yeah, and his music was one of the first sort of touch points I had with that feeling of uncertainty, sort of, and with that mental health can bring, right? When you struggle with anxiety or with depression, some of these things can derail your way of living and really it's difficult for you to see a path forward.
I would agree.
Kid Cudi, with his first album, Man on the Moon, The End of Day, was unbelievable. It came out while I was in college. It had songs like Soundtrack to My Life, Simple As, Heart of a Lion, Solo Dolo, Make Her Say, the Lady Gaga sample, Man on the Moon, TGIF, and of course there was Day and Night, which was played to a degree that destroyed that song for me permanently.
I can completely understand that, and it's hilarious.
I wasn't a stoner either. It
Okay.
was like I was just a regular person, and I couldn't wrap my fucking head around that one. It was so damn annoying, dude. Every freaking party, at least 5 times, Day and Night got played. Day and Night. I couldn't take it anymore. But great song, and that was one of the ones, honestly, that before it got destroyed for me by being overplayed, that I was like, oh, this dude is doing something a little different. He's talking about actual feelings and like real shit that he's dealing with on a day-to-day mentally, which is very, very different than any other rappers doing any, like, I mean, even Kanye, man, he never really delved into the, up until these last couple albums when he's dealt more with bipolar and the issues he's faced mentally. It's not something he really addressed a whole lot. Like, he talked about heartbreak, well, Kanye, but he never really delved into the mental health space and connected with me on that front. Kid Cudi did that.
Yeah.
And speaking of Kanye, on this new album that Kid Cudi has dropped, Man on the Moon 3, The Chosen, Kanye is nowhere to be found. It's a new album, sans Kanye. And it's the good stuff, the good Cudi.
We're back.
This is what we want from Cutter. No Kanye really says something here.
Yeah.
Because they did their little Kids See Ghosts project together. And listen, it was okay. There were a couple little songs on there that were all right out of like 7. There were 7 songs, I think.
Yeah.
But this is a Kid Cudi album. I mean, he's done some weird stuff, right?
I don't think Kids See Ghosts had any longevity, though. Like, I don't go back and listen to that ever. Like, it had some cool things that it tried to do, especially with the beats. And anytime that you have Kanye and Cudi involved, of course,
you're gonna listen, right?
Some experimental shit in terms of the beats. But
Cudi Montage
Cudi feels back.
and Feel the Love on Kids See Ghosts, I will still bang.
Okay.
Both
true,
of those.
fair,
But that's
fair.
it, I think. That's it. And as a whole, on the whole, that album ended up being pretty disappointing.
But when you look at,
consider that it was Kanye West and Kid Cudi.
And when you look at Man on the Moon 1 and Man on the Moon 2, which both came out in 2009 and then 2010, back-to-back years, and then both of which were fucking incredible albums, Kids See Ghosts was, I would consider that a pretty
Yeah, and he
significant
also
drop
did
from
like
that.
Indie Cud, which was pretty hit or miss, Speeding Bullet to Heaven in 2015, Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying in 2016. Then he did Kids See Ghosts in 2018, and now 2020 we get Man on the Moon 3. This is the first project from Cudi since Man on the Moon 2 that has felt like it's where it needs to be.
Yeah.
that it's on the whole thing. I've listened to it front to back probably 4 or 5 times now, and the whole thing feels like OG Kid Cudi.
I would completely agree.
I mean, it literally starts with some of the tones and sounds from album 1 on the opening track. The cover art is like a combination of the Man on the Moon original cover art and the Man on the Moon 2 almost, sort of, if you closed it up. I'm trying to pull up the track list right now so I can tell you some of my favorite songs off of this one too real quick. But Another Day is the 3rd track, and it's one that stood out to me big time. But it really just is one of those albums that, like, as I listen through it, it just rolls, man. I don't even know which song is which yet. Show Out with Skepta and Pop Smoke is really tight. But every single track hits in a way that really resonated with me. I thought he did a phenomenal job on this project. And it's just one of those things where it feels like perfect timing because this is such a difficult end to a difficult year. Like, the holidays are tough. We're all stressed, enduring a lot, and to have Cudi drop an album that feels more on par with what I come to expect from him in albums 1 and 2 back in the day is huge, because this is one of my favorite rappers, one of my favorite artists, period, in music over the past 15 years. And to get a project from him that's full length, that has no Kanye West, and that really feels good.
18 songs.
That's a dub. That's a win
Big
for all
win.
of us. And
Absolutely.
Coles, we're talking about how mentally music can help.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, it's something we talked about a little bit last week, how there are days where I'll start the day with an hour of hardcore, like, jamming to try to
Absolutely.
get through and get out of my, that space. Like, I'm not a morning person. Mornings are tough for me. It's when I tend to battle my depression and anxiety hardest.
Same here.
So I use music to get out of that place a lot.
And in the same light, a lot of the times on my drive to work and stuff like that, I'll roll the window. I've talked about this. I asked Ross last week, is it trash of me that no matter the temperature, I usually roll the windows down in the morning, even if it's 30 degrees outside. I'll just turn the heat all the way up and my seat heater on, and then I'll have the windows all the way down.
Full disclosure, one of the things I'm excited about with getting the car this week, fingers crossed it happens, is never having to ride with your ass in the winter again, because you're completely out of control with your temperatures. The
I'm
man
pretty terrible.
puts the heater on as high as it goes.
Okay,
and then either rolls the windows down or just hot boxes and murders everyone inside.
All right, listen. Right now, my car's thermometer does not work. It thinks that it's negative 40 degrees outside for some reason.
So you can't even help it?
So I can only either have it on low, which is the AC, or high, which is the heat. Because if I turn it on, like, say, 50, it thinks that it's negative 40, so it just goes to high heat.
Oh, you're ridiculous. I'm being cooked like a chicken in there.
Exactly. So I'm sorry about that. But this is why I have the windows down all the time in the wintertime. It just gives you that the wind in your hair, the cold wind on your face. It really wakes you up first thing in the morning.
This is the opposite of a good cue for taking care of your face. Do not do this if you're trying to take care of your
obviously.
face.
Well, that's why you got to, keep some lotion on you at all
Fucking
times.
wind
Stay moisturized.
Ripping your skin off. It's like Chernobyl out there.
Windows down, music up. Tweeted that the other day.
True enough.
It's very true.
Not
Gets
in
the
the cold,
vibes
though.
going, gets the serotonin early in the morning. You're good to go.
Cold shower over windows down in the winter every day of the week.
Okay, fair.
Cold shower me, get me the and then get me out there with the windows up and the heater at a normal volume. But the point is this, music is one of the best tools we have, one of the best natural tools we have to combat stress, depression, anxiety, etc., etc. I mentioned Kanye. Really, the first way he connected with me was like through. Well, obviously there was an album before this, a few albums before this, really. But my 808s and Heartbreak was the first album I ever listened to where I was like, and that's exactly what heartbreak feels like. And heartbreak is a very difficult thing, going through a bad breakup or a divorce or whatever it may be. Loss is hard, and music is one of the few things that can really power you through that. It reminds you you're not the only person who's ever felt this. You're not alone. It's a common thing that humans face.
Yes.
Disappointment, heartbreak. And music can be extremely helpful to get through those moments as well. It's something I utilized a lot, especially towards the beginning of this year when I really needed it. Back when I was a little kid, man, when I felt really frustrated and alone as a teenager by my just family situation, sort of, I guess, and then just life. You're in that space where you're like 17, you don't really know shit about shit. Zero. One of my favorite rappers ever, Houston rapper Zero from Missouri City, shouts to Mo City. He was a dude that got me through a few years through his music and because I felt like I wasn't alone. and we weren't sharing anything
Yeah.
in common. This dude was talking about a totally different life, totally different lifestyle, but even so, I identified with so much of what he said, and music can just be this sort of bonding magical tool in that way.
Well, also it gives you that community as well for a lot of or for a lot of musicians, not just rappers. Like for me, the two things when I first started struggling with depression, the two things that helped me out the most were the podcast and Mac Miller, because both of those things gave me senses of community in their own individual ways.
People often say our names in together in the same sentence as Mac Miller and Ross Bolen. It often comes up. Yeah.
I've heard it all the time. Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. In the national media.
Yeah, Times bestseller.
Yep.
Ross Bolen and Mac Miller. Anyways, but yeah, like Mac made me feel like at the time you weren't really talking as much about depression yet. The podcast helped me out much more with my anxiety and making me feel like I wasn't alone there and really understanding what it was like to kind of live with anxiety as you grow up. And like even you talking about being sober, realizing that like, look, if something isn't working for your life, cut it out of your life. Like
right.
There becomes a point where you just, you can't make everything work. You can't if it's not working for you just because it works for everybody else, sometimes you have to not be like everybody else, and that's okay because you're doing it for you.
And even more importantly, it doesn't work for everybody else.
Exactly.
Not in that case anyway.
But societally, it's
feels that
made
way.
To appear that it works for everybody.
Feels that way.
Exactly. And then with Mac, it was much more the depression side of things. He was the first that really made me feel like I wasn't alone when I was going through my depression, that when I felt like I was in those dark holes, there were other people that felt the exact same way. And really, Mac Miller's Twitter and the community that his Twitter had at the time and his Twitter
media.
outreach. I wanted to say this about Cudi, too. Cudi's fantastic on Twitter. If you don't follow Kid Cudi on Twitter, highly recommend following Kid Cudi on Twitter. He's a really great follow, a really positive follow. Like, he always brings light to the feed every single day. He's always interacting with fans and stuff like that. And Mac did a lot of the same thing. He was always on Twitter doing social commentary. Like, some of my favorite... I wish we would have gotten more Mac Miller through the Trump presidency, because his commentary...
Especially after you made that song.
Yeah, his commentary brought so much levity to the political climate in this country. And I wish we would have gotten more of him for that. He was just
Mac
such a
is
light.
another great example, man. He's a guy who...
made an impact on so many people.
He was that dude for a generation.
Yeah.
He was like Kid Cudi was for me and a lot of people for a different generation, a younger generation. And it was one of the things that even when I heard Mac, like back in the day, because did Mac do I Love College?
Nah, that's like
Who the fuck was
Asher
that?
Roth. Or
Asher
something
Roth.
Like that.
What was the hit Mac had when I was... it doesn't matter. One of his first hits.
Probably either Donald Trump. That was a big one, of course. And then...
I just remember being like, oh, this is a tight song, but I had no real reason to be connected with this cat. Then I started listening to more of his music and found out more of what he was delving into in terms of subject matter, and I was like, oh shit, Mac Miller is very
probably
cool.
Nikes on My Feet. That was probably the first big one.
Definitely one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's another one of those guys that he is emotionally vulnerable in his music, and it offers you a place to connect. I'm going to throw out a random name here that maybe doesn't fit for a lot of y'all in the same group that we're talking about right now in terms of Kid Cudi and Mac Miller. It's Taylor Swift. And here's why I'm bringing Taylor Swift up. I'm not a Swiftie, as they call each other, I think.
Is it?
Maybe. I don't fucking know.
I don't either.
I don't have anything against Taylor Swift. I think she's done a phenomenal job as an entertainer throughout her career. She makes a shit ton of hits. I don't particularly care about her dating life or personal life. Like, it's not important to me who she dates or how their breakups go. As long as she continues to make good music, that's all I really care about. So, like, I'll jam her shit when it comes out.
Yeah.
Not the album. Like, I don't go play the Taylor Swift album, but, like, I'll get fed a song here or there from, like, riding with somebody in the car or, like, having somebody tweet about one of the songs on the album, and I'll go listen to it, and I'm like, oh, this is a bop or whatever. Most recently, it was that my girlfriend kept playing this song, and I didn't even know what it was. It was the Bon Iver song Exile on Taylor Swift's first album she put out this year. She just released a second album for this year, the sister album to her first album, which, again, artists are just now figuring out, like, I have $42 million a month in mortgage payments
and
and
I don't
no
have a tour
money coming in.
I should probably release some music.
I'm going to start dropping fucking hits to get some of this streaming dough,
And
which is huge for all of us at home.
Yeah, and they know that right now everybody's so like nobody's gonna put up with mediocre music because everybody's stuck at home.
When
so,
we're
like,
all
we better
burning
have
through it
bops.
and moving on quick. Like, she's
Exactly.
dropping 2 albums in a year type of shit. So there's a Taylor Swift and Bon Iver song off the first album that she put out this year called Exile. And it's just one of those, like, you know how T Swift does with the heartbreak music,
And
dude.
Bon Iver, dude.
Oh, he just does everything. Anything he does is I tweeted the other day. I was like, put me in a fucking cabin in Montana with Justin Vernon, who is Bon Iver, for a month, and I will give you like a Grammy-nominated recording album. I'm
Honestly.
serious. That would also cost several $1 million. I
Podman
think.
gets paid. Podman gets laid.
But that dude is just the most talented individual. So, like, I heard this song. She kept playing this song, my girlfriend, and not kept playing it, but like it was on the car every few days when I'd get in the car or whatever. And I was like, God damn, this song is good. But I wasn't gonna say anything because it's like a really sad heartbreak song. So we
Sure.
would just sit there and like vibe to it or whatever. But like I never was like, this song bops, because you know it's a heartbreak song. Then it clicked finally, like the second or third time I heard it, like, is that Bon Iver? Which makes me an idiot, as I've explained either on this show or on Twitch, I can't remember, because I love Bon Iver. I'm a huge fan. He has a very distinct sound, and it's very obvious in the song at several points. Like, the fact that it didn't click makes me feel ashamed of myself. The point is this. It's a phenomenal song. It's like one of those ones that just rips your heart out as you're listening to it. And that there's like all of the lyrics could apply to 50 different things. Like everybody could listen to this song and relate on some level type of thing. And it's just another one that like when I've felt, so it's funny, when you're down, right, either sad or like depressed or heartbroken, you can go one of two ways.
Yep.
Really uplifting music that's going to try to get you out of it. Like you're just putting on EDM or whatever. I don't know, whatever you feel like. Everybody has different shit, right? Sometimes maybe it's that you play like hardcore. Maybe you go System of a Down to try to shake yourself out of it. There's also a time to play some sad shit and like let it out.
Oh yeah.
Like cry it out or whatever you need
100%.
to do. This is one of those.
Yeah.
That Taylor Swift Bon Iver Exile song is not to be trifled with like in a public scenario where you need to maintain a straight face.
So is this your 2020 equivalent to 2019 Song of the Year being Shallows for you? I'm assuming Shallows? Had to be Shallows,
It's
right?
close for sure. I think that was like 2018.
Was that
wanna say.
2018?
I think it was.
Is that 2 years ago already?
Yeah, I can't do time
Oh,
anymore.
I remember when you went through a hardcore phase
Man,
of that song.
I'll
I
be
think
honest with you. I'm
ruined-
still assessing.
You kind of ruined that song for me in the sense that you talked about it on like every pod for like 6 weeks,
You're
and I was just
tempting me
like,
to
I refuse to listen to this song, and I don't even want to watch the movie.
Oh, you pussy. That's an all-time great.
I know.
It's
Trust
an
me.
all-time great.
I know. I've heard.
Shallow still goes so hard. It's just one of those things where I haven't been able to go back to A Star Is Born post-divorce because I don't know how that's gonna.
Lot
That
of
doesn't
baggage
feel
there.
like a good idea.
I understand.
That doesn't feel like an emotionally stable place for me to go. The movie where Bradley Cooper ends up hanging himself in his garage while his dog is outside
Oh well, I guess I shouldn't watch it now.
isn't where I want to go to there. That's a trigger warning for everybody who was going to be emotionally scarred by that. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen A Star Is Born by now, then you're out. Sorry.
That's fair.
You had a window.
I probably wasn't going to. It might have been a movie I watched like 5 years down the line, but like it definitely wasn't on my list.
What's our sister podcast? We need a sister podcast.
Is it not OCC?
Somebody apply. Nah.
I'm
It's
trying to.
two dudes.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Should we reach out to
Taylor Swift gets a sister album.
the Magic Hour?
I don't know. I'm going to need to think on this. Anyway, music, respect it, listen to it, use it.
Respect it.
For your mentals, go jam the new Kid Cudi album, Man on the Moon 3, The Chosen. RBP 357 is also brought to you by Bespoke Post. The curators of Bespoke Post have done it again this winter with an all-new line of essential boxes of awesome collections for guys guaranteed to upgrade your life. Right now, some of my favorite boxes that Bespoke Post is offering are the Puro and the Weekender. The Weekender being an incredible Weekender bag for your safe travels this holiday season or any time of year, really. You don't have to pick. You can travel whenever you want. And the Puro is 6 premium cigars and everything you need to enjoy them. That's the kind of phenomenal stuff they offer at Bespoke Post, whether it's showcase pieces to level up your indoor hosting skills or cozy threads for those blustery days that we're experiencing right now. Bespoke Post only sends guys the best stuff every month, no matter what you're into. Box of Awesome has you covered. From style and grooming goods to barware, cooking tools, and outdoor gear, Box of Awesome has collections for every part of your life. To get started with Bespoke Post, you just go take the quiz at boxofawesome.com. Your answers will help them pick the right Box of Awesome for you. They release new boxes every month across a ton of different categories. You can check them all out now. It's free to sign up, and you can skip a month or cancel at any time. Each box costs only $45, but has over $70 worth of gear inside, and you can get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com and enter the promo code RBP at checkout. That's boxofawesome.com, code RBP. For 20% off your first box. Next segment. The great Pornhub purge of 2020. Cole's big news on the porn front.
Stoked for this.
Important that earlier this month, the New York Times columnist Nick Kristof reported that Pornhub was monetizing videos featuring child rapes, revenge pornography, spy cam videos of women showering, racist and misogynistic content, and footage of women being asphyxiated in plastic bags.
All of which, let me say, sounds horrible.
It's not good. Pornhub has long been the focus of scrutiny from both sex workers and people who care about the sex worker industry and the pornography industry in general and the health of it all and the safetiness of it all. For being one of the less caring distributors of pornography in the world, I guess I would say, if not the least caring in terms of the things they've been accused of, the way they've decided to handle certain things. It's just been a total and utter mess.
Let's say fairly laissez-faire type governing from Pornhub.
I would argue even more like just straight up turning a blind eye to really, really messed up shit, or just straight up being okay with it. But Pornhub responded to all of these allegations and all of these issues, I guess the cancel culture that started to come for them, sort of, if you will, by barring unverified users from uploading or downloading content from the site and promising to expand its moderation efforts, which, if you're looking at things in a big picture standpoint, right now, what's the big deal with Facebook and Twitter? The government wants to make sure, or whatever, I don't know, people, we all want to make sure we're getting correct information. We don't want to get fake news. We don't want misinformation spread through these social networks. And there's a lot of issues around censorship and what that should look like, how we control the spread of misinformation, et cetera, et cetera. To consider that on that front, we're as active as we are. You got Mark Zuckerberg and Jack having to run up in front of Congress every 3 fucking weeks. But Pornhub is still pumping out like underage and illegal and criminal content every day from unverified users. They're allowing unverified users to publish, upload, and download content from their site, which means I could go make a fake account right now, go outside and film myself fucking a tree, upload it to Pornhub, and then it would be on Pornhub and searchable by whatever the title I made, Man Fucks Tree Out of Loneliness. Which is not going to happen and is not the case. But the point is this, that could be a thing.
It could be.
So for people who are familiar with porn perusing, you're aware that much of what you find on Pornhub in particular, but really all the most popular free or paid premium, a lot of these sites that are free, they have a paid side to them. Pornhub has Pornhub Premium where you can pay for your porn. But obviously in the case of Pornhub, the problem still remains that you were getting access to a ton of shit that shouldn't even be there.
Absolutely.
Shouldn't be there in the first place. You're all aware, like, you're getting OnlyFans content uploaded constantly.
Like stuff that's literally screen recorded and ripped and posted.
You're getting a lot of revenge porn in the form of ex-girlfriends, broke up or whatever, relationships ended. People uploading sex tapes, with or without faces. It doesn't really matter. It's criminal as fuck. It's very illegal, and it's extremely wrong.
Yes.
And morally repugnant.
Yes.
So Pornhub has been a big, big, big part of that problem because it's one of, if not the biggest porn outlet, right? It's the one that comes up the most. They're the most active on social media, the most famous one, period. And they've been awful.
Absolutely.
So they're finally just now deciding to get rid of all this content. Despite the changes they're making, MasterCard and Visa both announced something huge. That they would stop processing payments from the site.
Which actually is very, very huge.
So as of today, Pornhub has suspended all videos on its site that were not uploaded by content partners or verified models on their platform. That's going to lead to a massive chunk of their content disappearing, according to Forbes, just days after MasterCard and Visa stopped processing transactions. So guess what moved the needle?
Money.
Money.
It's always money.
Money moved the needle. It's not morals here. This was about money. They were going to lose every single client they had that was using Visa or MasterCard. Obviously, they were forced to make changes. So, Pornhub will now only allow videos from the verified users, which include adult film studios and verified models, the company announced in a blog post. They maintained that this is a stricter policy than that of YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and other major social media platforms. So they're going even a step further in saying that they're now the face of internet safety, which is fucking absurd.
The flagship.
They are taking down videos that have been uploaded by unverified users, pending verification and a review process that will start in the new year, so not even started yet. And a massive chunk of their videos will be taken down. The content purge, as of Monday morning, this morning, had reduced the number of videos available on the site to 4.7 million, down from 13.5 million.
That definitely is a big hit.
That's a third.
Yeah.
Remaining. A third.
I mean, I will say, I guarantee you a lot of those are just like, 100 views, never get seen at all, don't really pop up anywhere type
Probably,
of thing.
But a lot of those are not.
That's very true.
A lot of those are not. A lot of those are videos that were on the front page of their shit, I guarantee it. And this is according to Vice's Motherboard, that number, 4.7 million, down from 13.5 million, which again, a massive, massive cut in the amount of content they're offering. And this is obviously the reason they wanted that content. But I guess they finally got to a point where they decided, like, we have enough. We need this money from Visa and MasterCard. Let's try to start doing something positive. It's just an insane story.
Yeah, and it's, we were talking about this earlier. What was the statistic that you pulled up that they thought that up to maybe 52%?
Well, it's clearly more than that at this point, because if they had 13.5 million and we're down to 4, half of 13.5 would be like 6.7 or some shit. We're at 4.7, so over 50% of their content has been deleted this morning.
I thought that statistic was for either underage or unverified or
no.
unconsenting.
No, but
videos.
Well, clearly they all fall into that category.
Yeah,
over
absolutely.
50% of their content fell into the category of content that had to be removed because technically it was illegal.
Yeah, well, with the influx of the amount of like sex trafficking in the country and around the world and everything like that, the idea that a girl that was kidnapped or something like that
could end up on Pornhub, then as a piece of entertainment with no verification
at all.
With no
when you think it's like a skit and it's literally a girl or like a bit or like part of the video or an act or something like that. When it's literally a girl that is being held there against her will, that even the thought of that being able to be a thing on
which is
probably the most popular,
which is a thing.
It is a thing, absolutely, and that's why props to MasterCard and Visa for making a statement here and forcing change, because this is most definitely a step in the right direction.
Finally.
And I do think to be honest, like with the introduction of things like OnlyFans and OnlyFans type influencers, et cetera, I think that porn is going to become more and more personalized.
It already has, player. You're looking at it.
Yeah,
this is the result of two things: pressure from Visa and MasterCard and OnlyFans. Because you know who's not happy about their content being ripped and uploaded to Pornhub?
Every single OnlyFans creator.
And the biggest ones in particular. And guess who has pull? Those women.
Yeah,
those
biggest
men.
ones. Yeah.
The biggest followings are going to bring you the most power when it comes to defending yourself in these situations. And if OnlyFans has gotten big enough and they now have enough mainstream, massively appealing porn stars on their pages putting out premium content that is supposed to be a subscription that has been being uploaded to Pornhub, you're talking about lawsuits getting filed every single day until that stops. So, they finally got put into a position where they had no choice.
Yeah.
That doesn't change the fact that you shouldn't support a company that doesn't make a morally correct change until they have no choice.
Yeah, because it's been the news.
Don't give money to people who shit on our society.
I've been seeing this in the news for months and months and months, and right now is the first time that I've seen they actually have to do action on this.
Yeah, go find yourself some fucking porn that isn't destroying the world to get your little rocks off or whatever. You know what I'm saying? This is the thing. If you were a Pornhub subscriber and you're like, wow, I had no idea. That's wild. The next step is being like, I'm no longer going to support this company. You don't just move on with your life like, well, fuck it. This is exactly how we got into the situation we're in the United States, where all these corporations that we didn't realize or pay enough attention to in terms of moral bankruptcy now get to make political decisions on our behalfs. You see, if you give them money long enough, eventually they have enough money to where they can actually influence our entire society through lobbying. And that's how we end up with incredibly crooked situations. So it's a bigger deal than just like, yeah, I'm jack off. It's more than that. Like, it's a moral stand you have to take to be against shit like this. If people are being hurt, if a company is negatively influencing this country and behaving in a way or acting in a way that is morally deficient, do not support them. Now, that's based on each individual decision whether or not we think, that a company is good or bad. But in this case, it's pretty black and white. Like, these guys don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They don't care at all.
Yeah.
They're just in it for the money. Fuck the rest of us. They don't care at all.
Yeah, I mean, literally,
So I'm out.
The two largest credit card companies, I would probably think in the world, right, MasterCard and Visa, said that, hey, if you guys continue doing this...
then you will not take payments from our customers. Then
Yeah.
they were like, I guess we'll
Oh.
stop putting up child porn.
Yeah. And if it takes that to stop putting up child porn, yeah, I mean...
Fuck these guys.
Should be a pretty simple decision there.
No pun intended.
Support your
Fuck 'em.
sex workers on a small local scale.
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
do what you need to do. I don't know. Just don't do this. Don't give people your money who are doing bad things with it. Give good people your money. I'll throw one at you right now. RBP 357 is also brought to you by Leesa. Your mattress is probably the most important purchase you'll ever make for your place, whether you're grinding in a studio apartment or you live in a 4-bedroom with 2 kids or some shit. Having a fantastic bed for your body and mind to rest on every night is paramount, and Leesa knows how important rest is to a better life. Leesa is the foundation of a healthier, happier you, and to Leesa, a bed is more than just a place to sleep. It's a place for relaxation and rest. All of their products at Leesa have been thoughtfully designed to go beyond creating a comfortable bed to transform your bedroom into a sanctuary you actually want to spend time in. I've got the Leesa Legend. It's the name of the mattress, the Leesa Legend, after I slept on their hybrid, the Leesa Hybrid, for years and years. Best sleep of my life. I didn't think it could get any better, but my God, the Leesa Legend is phenomenal. Now my guests and Coles, when he sleeps at the Bolen Media headquarters, sleep on the hybrid, so everybody wins. I couldn't be happier. They also hooked up my Mimi, my grandma, my mom's mom, who's in a memory care unit, up with a brand new Leesa bed as well. Last year, at one point, Leesa also donates 1 mattress for every 10 they sell through organizations that work in causes like foster care prevention. To date, they've donated more than 33,000 mattresses through more than 1,000 nonprofits. Leesa mattresses are made in the USA, in-home delivery and setup is available. Financing is also available. Don't miss out, RBP gang. Live healthier, live happier by resting deeper. Order today and get 15% off any mattress for a limited time at leesa.com/RBP when you use the promo code RBP. That's LEESA.com/RBP, promo code RBP. Keep in mind, you also get a 100-night risk-free trial plus free shipping and returns. If you've been waiting for a moment, go into 2021 getting the best sleep of your life with Leesa. Leesa.com/RBP. And that will do it for today's show. But before you head out to take on the world, it's time for some very important announcements. First and foremost, you have 3 legal obligations you've been saddled with as a result of having listened to this entire podcast, the first of which is that you must rate and review. Then you can check that box and move on to number 2, which is that you must share this show with one other human being that has the ability to listen, that you think might enjoy it. You can check that box and move on to number 3, which is to support our sponsors who support us and keep us in business, showing and growing. Go to FelixGrayGlasses.com/RBP for 15% off a pair of Felix Grays today. Get your meditation shit together by going to Headspace.com/Ross for a free 1-month trial with access to Headspace's full library of meditations for every situation. Also, Bespoke Post by going to BoxOfAwesome.com and using the code RBP for 20% off your first box of awesome. And then, of course, Leesa.com/RBP, who you just heard from. Support our sponsors who support us. Check that box. You're done with your 3rd legal obligation, and that's it. And then if you want to, you can follow us on social media. We're on Instagram at the Ross Bolen Podcast, on Twitter at Ross Bolen Pod. We're also on Facebook.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. You can follow me, Ross Bolen, on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at WRBOLEN, at WR Bolen on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Follow Coles and I live on Twitch.tv/Boss Rollin' a few times a week. Twitch.tv/Boss Rollin'. That's Ross Bolen with the B and the R reversed, where Coles and I go live playing Warzone, Call of Duty, Cold War, Rocket League. Coles got into yesterday. We play some Fortnite. We play some Apex Legends. A lot of fun on twitch.tv/bossrollin', so make sure you give us a follow and subscribe if you have the ability. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free Twitch Prime subscription per month. You can use it right there to support us on the show. Chris, where can everybody follow you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at ChrisSC99. You can follow me on Twitter at Q0ULS, and you can find me on Snapchat at Chris_Coulson. That's COULSON.
Make sure you check out Bolen Media's television and film podcast, Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, available wherever you listen to RBP. If you love TV and movies, you will love OCC. We are also covering The Sopranos, season by season, episode by episode, starting with the pilot. We have done episodes 1 and 2. We're moving on to episode 3 this week on the OCC Patreon page. Go listen to Oysters, Clams, and Cockles on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, or watch on youtube.com/Bolen Media and figure out what we're doing with The Sopranos for the rest of 2020 and all of 2021 if you want to be involved. Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. That will do it for RBP 357, produced by Myrriah, Gossett, and Mike Moody Garcia of Permanent Record Studios in Austin, Texas. We'll be back Wednesday with RBP 358, then Friday, just like every Friday, with an ad-free exclusive episode on patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast for members of the RBP gang pledging their monthly support to keep the show growing and showing. Minimum of just $5 monthly on patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. Come through, support the show, get more RBP. You are not alone. Podmen get paid. Respect Mr. Park. Strength and honor. Gang, gang, gang. Chris?
Peace be with you.
And also with you.